This is Art and Arts English lesson. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to English lesson. In today's lesson, we will talk about transitions or transitional devices. First of all, let's understand what they are. Well, transitional devices connect sentences and paragraphs together smoothly. The word transition means the process or the period of changing from one state to another. In writing, a transition device is a word or a phrase that connect one idea to another. This connection can occur from one sentence to another, within a paragraph, or between paragraphs. Transitions are used to show how sentence or paragraphs are related to each other. There are many types of transitional words or phrases. When introducing transition words, the most basic ones are the conjunctions. For example, and, or, for, nor, etc. And other transition words are the adverbs that describe the way one action is performed or how it relates to another idea. For example, hence, therefore, however, after, also, beside, first, then, next, etc. There are several types of transitional words and phrases, and let's give a look at different categories of them. Okay, firstly, let's give a look at the transitional words that indicate agreement, addition, or similarity. They are additionally, again, along with, also, and, as a matter of fact, as well as, by the same token, comparatively, correspondingly, coupled with, equally, equally important, first, second, third, furthermore, identically, in addition, in like manner, in the first place, in the light of, in the same way, like, likewise, moreover, not only but also, not to mention, of course, similarly, then, to say nothing of, together with, to, uniquely, what is more. Now, the transitions that indicate an example or show support or emphasize. Another key point, as an illustration, by all means, certainly, expressively, first and foremost. First thing to remember, for example, for instance, for one thing, for this reason, frequently. Important to realize, in fact, in general, in other words, in particular, in this case, including, indeed, like, compelling evidence. It must be remembered, namely, notably, on the negative side, on the positive side, point often overlooked, significantly, specifically, such as surely, surprisingly, that is to say, to be sure, to clarify, to demonstrate, to emphasize, to explain, to point out, to put it another way, or to put it differently, to repeat, truly, with attention to, with this in mind. Alright, now the transitional devices that indicate an effect, result, or consequence. Accordingly, as a result, because, consequently, for this reason, henceforth, forthwith, in that case, therefore, thereupon, thus, hence. The transitional words that indicate opposition or limitation. And still, and yet, above all, after all, although this may be, as much as, at the same time, be that as it may, besides, but, conversely, despite, different from, even so, even though, however, in contrast, in reality, in spite of, instead, nevertheless, nonetheless, notwithstanding, of course, but, on the contrary, on the other hand, or otherwise, rather, regardless, then, again, unlike, whereas, while. Transitional words that indicate cause, condition, or purpose. As, so long as, because of, due to, for the purpose of, for fear that, given that, in order to, in the event that, in the hope that, in view of, on the condition that only, even if, since, being that, seeing, so as to, provided that, so that, to the end that, unless, when, whenever, while, with this in mind, with this intention. Transitionals that indicate conclusion or summary. After all in all things considered, altogether, as can be seen, as has been noted, as shown above, for the most part, generally speaking, given these points, in a word, in any event, in brief, in conclusion, in either case, in essence, in fact, in short, in summary, in the final analysis, in the long run, on balance, on the whole, ordinarily, overall, to sum up, to summarize, usually. Transitionals that indicate time or sequence. After, all of a sudden, as long as soon as, at the present time, at the same time, at this instant, before, by the time, during, eventually, finally, first, second, formally, from time to time, further, hence, henceforth, immediately, in a moment, in due time, in the first place, in the meantime, in time, instantly, last, later, meanwhile, next, now, now that, occasionally, once, presently, prior to, quickly, shortly, since, sooner or later, straight away, suddenly, then, till, to begin with, until now, up to the present time, when, whenever, without delay. The transitionals that indicate space, location, or place. Above, across, alongside, among, around, before, behind, below, beneath, beside, between, beyond, down, from, farther, here, here and there, in front of, in the background, in the center, in the distance, in the foreground, in the middle, near, nearby, next, on this side, opposite to, over, there, to the right or left, under, where, wherever. So these were some transitional words and phrases that you can use to improve your writings. Alright, now let's understand that why it is suggested or why it's important that you use transitional devices for your writings. Well, firstly, they bring out the logical relation between ideas and sentences, and they make it more clear and attractive towards the reader, and the reader is going to be interested in getting the idea as what you are talking about. You cannot just imagine that the reader knows exactly the same thing as you know and whatever you are trying to convey. Then they provide the reader with directions for how to piece together your ideas. Right? As we have just discussed, that you cannot assume that the reader knows everything as you know. So in order to explain it in your way, as how you see it, if you use these transitional devices, it's going to be more helpful for you. Now let's give a look at an example paragraph with transitional devices and without them. Alright, so here this is the paragraph. Paragraph without transitional words. Drawing is all about taking the time to master each step. Mastering the art of drawing doesn't happen in a day. It's a skill that takes daily practice. You need dedication to hone your craft. It's important not to burn yourself out. You need to stick with it. Or words. Now with transitional words and phrases. Drawing is all about taking the time to master each step. In other words, mastering the art of drawing doesn't happen in a day. Furthermore, it's a skill that takes daily practice as well as dedication to hone your craft. It's important not to burn yourself out, but you need to stick with it. You can see the difference between the impact of the message that is being conveyed in this paragraph. I hope that you have understood what are transitional devices or phrases, and you do have the list here in the lesson. You can always visit the website. The link is in the description to get the list of the transitional words from the website itself. So here our today's lesson ends. I will meet with you into the next lesson with something more about English. Till then, take care of yourselves. Remember me in your prayers. Allah Hafiz.